again. It's a redskin.
She did them, you know, and I was aware she did them, and I just didn't know how to stop her from doing perks, you know. And I kept warning her about fentanyl because I have a lot of friends that lost their kids. So I'm part of that club now. And I used to beg her, you know, and tell her, please stop taking it. You don't know what's in them. In my daughter's case, is she didn't OD. For people that don't know the story, she was murdered by fentanyl. This is a picture of my daughter for the people that never seen her.
And I you know, can't say it enough times. Do not accept anything from anyone you don't know. And even if you do know them, don't accept it unless you know what it is and where it's come from. And
I would say at my worst, I was probably taking between 30, 35, sometimes maybe 40 a day.
If anything, the way I look at it is like Sopranos saved me. When I would think like, man, what are you doing to yourself? It would be a lot easier for me to go like, stop doing this. Look at what your life could be, you know, instead of what a lot of my friends were dealing with. And, you know, I think it's 5 of my friends who I brought to the premieres of The Sopranos are dead now.
I had my own battle with addiction as well. The Vicodin and Percocet, that was the thing. You know, I didn't do heroin, or it wasn't coke or anything else. It was Vicodin and Percocet.
You know, by 2005, I was a full-blown heroin addict and a crack cocaine addict.
And even people with the worst kind of mental illness have a chance if they have the capacity to be honest with themselves. The reality is we've been lying to ourselves with every drink we put in our mouth, or every puff we take, or every, you know, pill that we pop, or whatever we're doing. And then, you know, we wonder why people get pissed off at us, but we don't see that it's what we're doing. It's not my mother, my father, my brother, my uncle, my sister. No, it's me too.
The consequences are too severe for me. You know, the damage I've done to my health, it's a fucking miracle. Nothing short of a miracle that I am still alive. So, if I can do it, any of you can do it.
When people suffer from alcoholism or drug addiction, there must come a moment when your life totally crashes. For me, that moment came when the pain was too great and the consequences were too profound. Only then did I decide to change. Recovery and sobriety is all about change, and for me, it started when I woke up in a grimy hotel room in a shitty little town in Pennsylvania. And so, if you want a new life and start a new journey of a lifetime, you've come to the right place. You want to drink? That's your business. You want to stop drinking? That's our business. Welcome to Recovery Tube.
Hey guys, how you doing? See who we got here. Miss Can't Be Wrong, Jesse, Tom Sheehy, Michael Hensley. We love you too. Ronan 456, South Philly Tony, and that's it. Got a total of 15 people watching right now. It's a shame, really. I know there's a lot of people on MobTube and stuff that have addiction issues, but it is what it is. We'll get more as we go. So, oh, that's what's up, man. Congratulations on 4 years, Ronan 456. That's great, bro. That's great. That's a long time. It is. Keep doing whatever it is you're doing. Chris Capello, we were just calling attendance, and there you are. You showed up late, but it's all right. The fuck, man? What time is it? It's 6:09. It's almost like completely dark out. Like not a little dark out. Totally dark out. Give me a second. It's fucking miserable too. Now we got to deal with that horse shit. I fucking hate the winter, and it's coming fast. It'll be here before you know it. I'm probably going to shave today because it's been about a week, I think. I just haven't been feeling it, you know. I'm in a little bit of a rut right now. But let's see. Yes, Matt. I'm not late. I never left. There you go. So I'll tell you what I want to talk about today. Last time we did an addiction recovery show, we talked about, well, I don't know if it was the last show. You know my memory. One of the last shows, I talked about people who, you know, all of us really, but I might have talked about certain specific people. The way people can just lose and lose and lose and lose, and it doesn't wake them up at any point. You know, they don't say, okay, it's time for treatment. It's time for help. You know, it never seems to work. It doesn't matter. People can lose everything. Their addiction's too strong. The last few nights, I've run out of stuff basically on YouTube to watch. So I watched the rise and fall of Bam Margera, right? Now, I've spoken about Bam before, actually on an addiction recovery show. But in case you guys don't know, he was clean for a while. Now he's in jail for a DUI as we speak. I watched about actually 6 or 7 documentaries about him, you know, about Jackass, about just all those guys, you know. And if you guys know that story at all, yes, Tom Sheehy, absolutely. If you guys know that story at all, Brandon Novak, who was Bam's like best friend since basically childhood, he became a professional skater really early on, but he was always a drug guy. Sorry, I put that up by accident. Drugs and alcohol. He was always into drugs from a very young age. He would do anything, you know, he's just one of those guys. As long as it was drugs, he would do it, you know, and he drank like crazy and everything else. I'm not even putting these comments up on the screen. I don't know how this is happening. So anyway, and then there was, you know, others in the crew. I think Johnny Knoxville, I think he had addiction issues too. I think they pretty much all did. But the reason I mentioned Novak is because like I said, he was always into drugs and alcohol from an early age, and he struggled with addiction since an early age. You know, Bam was completely and totally against drugs and especially alcohol. Like, I don't think Bam had his first drink until he was 21 years old. You know, so the reason I'm bringing this up is because Brandon Novak, I forget what year it was. I want to say it was in the 2000s, like maybe 2005 or something. Let me see. When did Brandon Novak get clean? Oh, 2015. Okay, 2015. Steve O got clean. When did Steve O get clean? Was it 2008? I believe it was 2008. So the reason I brought this up is because it goes to show that it's not necessarily something that's in your fucking DNA, or it's not necessarily a family trait. You know, they do say that, you know, if you have addiction in your, you know, family tree, so to speak, you know, if you have parents, grandparents, siblings suffered with addiction, well, I guess more, you know, parents, grandparents, whatever, then you're more, you're very likely to as well. Sorry if I'm a little off today, guys. I'm in a lot of pain and I'm tired. But you know what I'm talking about. And even about age, you know, people who start earlier than others, stuff like that. I brought up those two guys because Brandon Novak was a drug addict since he was a little kid, and he got clean and sober, and he's clean and sober since 2015. Bam, I don't know what he did drug-wise. I don't think it was much when he was younger. When he was a teenager and shit, he was completely and totally against it. But like I said, he didn't have his first drink till he was 21. And he's a fucking mess, you know, and he can't get clean. And he has lost everything. Everything. That guy, you know the success of Jackass. Wildly successful. He got his first $1 million contract. I think it was for the CKY videos when he was very young. I think he was like maybe 19, 20 years old, something like that. And then, you know, he just kept blowing up. They had Jackass and Viva La Bam and all that shit. He had $40 million fucking dollars at one point. At least that was his net worth, $40 million. It's been going down ever since. And at this point, they say he might be worth around $1 million. Think about that. He lost everything. He lost custody of his son. He lost his gorgeous wife. He lost his relationship with a lot of his family members, relationships, I should say, with a lot of his family members. He lost his career completely. Can't really skate no more. And as far as the movies and shit, I forget which Jackass it was. I'm not that much into those movies. I've seen them, but I'm not all into it like that where I even know which one is which. But maybe it was the last one. They put some wellness clause or something in the contract because they weren't going to put Bam in it. Finally, they decided to put him in it, but they put some wellness clause in the contract, meaning he had to stay clean and sober. And I guess at one point, he says, according to him, now this was $5 million he was getting paid. $5 million fucking dollars for this movie to do some pranks. You know what I mean? Get your ass kicked a little bit on camera. At one point in time, he said he was searching through some of his stuff or something, and he found an Adderall. Which, you know, come on. Okay, sure. It's an addict lie. We know what that's like. But something happened, and he had to get piss tested because of the movie, I believe. They were making him get piss tested regularly. And he failed because of this fucking Adderall. and he was kicked off the movie, and that's $5 million fucking dollars. He has a son who, I'd like to say a son who he loves to death. It's hard to tell with him, but I think that's mostly because of his addiction. I think he probably loves his son, you know, adorable kid. And he lost that, you know. Meanwhile, somebody like Brendan Novak, who was an addict since a young fucking age, is thriving right now. He's doing fucking great in life. So is Steve-O. Steve-O's got his podcast, making millions of dollars. He's doing stand-up comedy, which is, I've seen him. He's not really funny, but somehow he puts asses in seats. He even offered, I think, to have, I think he offered to have Bam open for him or something, and he was going to pay him for every show, like take him on tour, and Bam fucked that up too. But they're all doing great now. I believe Johnny Knoxville is clean and sober. You know, they're all doing great except for Bam. And he was the guy out of the whole crew that was the most against drugs and alcohol, and he started later than any of the rest of them. You know, so that's the puzzling thing about addiction. Well, a guy like Novak, you would say, okay, this fucking guy's hopeless. He's hopeless. He's been getting high since he was fucking 12. But he's not hopeless, you know? Then you take a guy like Bam and you say, okay, this dude never even wanted to do drugs or drink. He started experimenting. It went too far. He got addicted. He just needs to get some help and he'll be fine. But it's not that way. He went to rehab and all that shit. And he relapsed, you know, he was clean for a few months, I think, recently. And he relapsed, and now he's in jail for a fucking DUI. And like I said, I think he already only had like supervised visits with his kid for a long time now. But now, from what I read, she's taking him for full custody of the kid. She don't want him in the kid's life, period, anymore. You know how fucking bad that is? I mean, especially if you love your kid the way most people love their kids. That's the most valuable thing you have in the entire world is your time with your children. You know? And he's going to lose custody completely. You know, he totally fucking fucked up his relationship with his parents and everything else. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm sure some of you guys were like that. I'll give you an example. Me, I was always against drugs as a kid. I mean, fucking, you know, my friends were smoking weed at like 13, 14, you know what I mean? At least. And some of them were doing, you know, harder shit than that, coke and everything else. I was completely against drugs. Drinking, not so much. Drinking, I drank probably since I was like 15, like I've said before. It didn't become a problem for a few years, but, you know, I started drinking around the same age everybody else does. But drugs, I didn't want no parts of them. Weed, I fucking hated it so much. That's the only drug I had tried for, until my late teens. And then, like I said, I was probably like 17 when I tried coke. And that didn't turn out well, as you know. But I was the least likely person, like, especially in my family. My brother was a fucking nightmare. I mean, for my parents and shit. My brother was like, he was a constant runaway. He was always committing serious fucking crimes, you know. He ran with gangs and everything else in New York, and he would do crazy shit to my parents, you know. They would leave him, you know, home alone to go do something, and he would fucking, you know, call the fire department or some shit and tell them them that they're not feeding him and that they've been gone for days, you know, crazy shit like that. I mean, I remember in New York, he stole a fucking car, and I think he stole the car on like it was my dad's car, I believe he stole. He had done that many times. I believe it was on a Friday or something, and nobody could find him. Monday morning, they find him in the parking lot of the school with an alarm clock and a pillow, sleeping in the back seat. He didn't want to be late for school, but he was. Anyway, the point is, my brother was definitely the bad one till later on, of course. And he was experimenting with drugs at a young age. So you would have thought it would have been him with the addiction issues. You would have thought. But it really wasn't. I mean, when he was younger, in his teens, I wouldn't even say 20s, just in his teens, he was tried a whole lot of different shit. He was caught with drugs a lot, stuff like caught with drugs in, I think, Long Island one time. He was, but my brother, since I don't know, as far back as probably 21, 22 years old, he just drinks every now and then. I don't even know if he drinks at all anymore, but maybe, on occasions, cookouts, shit like that, and drink a little bit. But he wound up not to have the addiction issues, and he's the one that started experimenting with drugs at a very young fucking age. Like I said, he was a runaway. He was always gone. And then when he would be found, a lot of the time he'd be in a stolen car or something, so they'd lock him up. So it's when I think about it, it always blew my mind. Once I really started developing an addiction, I'm like, wow, because, if it would have been anybody, you would think it would have been him and not me. But it wound up being me and not him. And I don't think when he was a teenager, he definitely fucked around with hard drugs, but not as an adult. I don't think he ever did drugs as an adult. So it's just, it's crazy to me, and it's the same type of thing with this. Except, when I'm talking about these guys, they're not related. So I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. It's just, I truly don't understand addiction yet, I guess, and not the way I should. Let's see. All right, Robert. Can be very puzzling. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds familiar to me. Yeah. Wait, sounds like my former best friend, actually. Really? Same Matt. It's amazing how far some people have to fall to hit bottom. Yeah, it is, man. And listen, I'm look, see, I still got this horse shit. Fucking, it's going away, but listen, I lost a lot before I fucking finally got help, and not just once. Every time that I'd become really, truly, heavily addicted to something, which it was always coke or alcohol or both. I would, I'd lose everything, but I'd always bounce back and shit, and I did this time too, luckily, but I lost so much. I mean, even just in, I don't know, the amount of money, I couldn't even, I don't even want to think about it. If I had 10% of all the money I fucking lost, and it just, and I don't mean, because I made money off of selling drugs, but I mean, not that necessarily, moving and broken relationships that wind up costing a fucking fortune, depending on how much you share together and every fucking thing else, possessions, all that shit. And you spend money like a fucking asshole. You have no fucking good judgment. You're under the influence. Possessions, like I said, moving around place to place. There's things that I had that I said I would always keep no matter what, that are gone. And I never gave them away. I never sold anything. I never was somebody to sell my stuff or anything. But so many important things have gotten lost because of move after move and all this different shit, not being completely stable, and relationships lost, friendships, Listen, you guys know me. I usually can't get rid of friends fast enough, but I'm sure there was a couple that were truly damaged by my addiction. You lose jobs, you lose careers, you lose, depending on who you are, what you have, you could lose it. I told you, I knew a guy named Ira I was in fucking outpatient with. This guy owned like 6 restaurants just in York County alone. And it was extremely successful. Somebody mowing their lawn in the fucking dark. Extremely successful. Had money, lived in a big ass house, all that good shit. And somehow started smoking crack and lost every fucking thing. So whatever it is you have, you can lose. Like me, I'll give you one of the biggest examples as far as money, how I lost so much money. DJing. I was making a fucking fortune for being a local DJ in a small town. I was making more money than a lot of DJs will ever make DJing. It was my own business, 7 fucking years. I had a mobile DJ business. I had residencies at clubs, but I also did private events. And sometimes I would give other DJs gigs, but they'd give me a percentage if I was already doing something. I opened for a couple of rappers, stuff like that. And that was definitely lost because of my addiction. No fucking question. And that was for a guy like me who was a convicted felon since 19 to have your own DJ business where you're making $100,000 a year and all you're doing is DJing about 12 hours a week. That's a fucking dream come true. And I lost it. I lost it because things got so bad. Like 2007, basically, that I went through a horrible situation. And because of that, for the first time in my DJ career, I was missing gigs. I wasn't showing up, stuff like that. So I fucked my reputation up with certain club owners. I told you that the last night I DJ'd in a nightclub was the first time I ever accidentally let the music stop. I let the song run out without having another song ready to go. And that was it pretty much. I lost I lost my license from the DUI, so I couldn't even really DJ anymore. I couldn't even transport my equipment and shit. So, I mean, unbelievable amount of shit I've lost. Definitely relationships ended because of my addiction. My longest relationship ended because of addiction. Not really. There was about 1 million reasons, some of which had nothing to do with me, but it was part of it because I, started using again to the point because something horrible in my life took place, and I started using again to the point where I was fucking useless. All I would do is go DJ, and when I was at home, I was geeking, from all the fucking coke and shit. Or I was in bed because I was so fucking sick after I woke up from a long night of coke and alcohol, and I couldn't even fucking move. It wasn't just it just wasn't so against it like I just wasn't so against it like he was. But he then wanted to start smoking weed and stuff in his late teens or so. He was the least likely person too, etc. The least likely of all the people I hung out with, including kids that drank a lot. Yeah, but the thing about the least likely is that could work the other way too. Like, if you would have seen my rehab and the group of people, it was about 13 of us total that were there. I think most people would have said I was the least. I was the least likely to succeed in my sobriety. Because all these people, the wealthy fucking people, and they had incredible lives. They all lived in fucking mansions. They all lived all over the country. They fucking had millions of dollars. They had families, all that shit. I was at a point in my life where I had been living in a fucking hotel. Excuse me. I didn't even have anywhere to go when I left rehab. I mean, don't get me wrong, me being me, when I left rehab, I actually went to like a luxury hotel for a couple of days and then moved in with my brother after that. But I mean, while I was in there, as far as I knew,
I had no place to go. All those plans came together at the very end. So I was at my rock fucking bottom. And even then, like I said, I went to live with my brother because I didn't even have a place. You know, so it was very likely, even in my mind, I knew it was likely that I would get out, hit the streets, and boom, you know, I'd be, at the very least, I'd be selling drugs again, but most likely doing them too, you know, and drinking for sure. It's literally just Shanna. That's why I'm clean and sober to this day. So, you know, but I don't know. It's like I was the least likely to get clean and sober, even though I was the least likely to become an addict. And it's just like Novak, you know, he was the least likely to actually succeed in sobriety, and he has. And then bam, a guy who you'd think would be very likely to succeed because he has millions of dollars. He's world fucking famous, and he wasn't a drug or alcohol person to begin with. He's failed time and time again. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know if a guy like him will ever be able to stay clean and sober. I think he's lost. See, what happens sometimes, and a lot of us have been through this, you lose so fucking much that you don't even want to get clean and sober anymore. You want to die because it's like, I can never recover everything I've lost. I can never go back to the way things were. I can never fix anything. And it makes people feel hopeless without a fucking doubt. It's like Tom Sheehy, I'm sorry, said earlier. It does. You don't realize that, you know, getting clean and sober, you got a fresh start. And not only might you not only might you get back everything you had before you really fell, but you might get more. You know, you might get new people in your life. You might get into a new relationship. You might wind up with more money and more possessions and a better business or a better career or a better job, whatever, you know, stuff like that. You don't know that. When you're in that state of hopelessness, you feel like nothing could ever get better. Nothing, I can never be somebody. I've gone past the point of no return. I fucked myself up so bad that I'll never recover. But it's not true, man. It's not true. I'm living fucking proof, man. Your life could turn around in an instant. In an instant. And guess what? Had I known, if somebody would have told me 10 years ago, hey, listen, get clean and sober, fucking start a YouTube channel and wind up making a living off of it. You'll interview celebrities and you'll meet people all over the world, and you'll fucking have a great time, and you'll be clean and sober, and you'll have a beautiful wife, and you'll be off the streets and all that shit. Out of the streets, I should say. I was never on the street. You know what I mean? I was in the streets. If somebody would have told me that, I'd have 10 years clean and sober right now, you know, but it's not the way it is. It's not a movie. You know, nobody can show you your future. You just know how you feel and what you think it's most likely going to turn out to be, you know. I really let my family down. I think we all did, Tom, for years. It's a shame. Yes, guys, today, live for today. You have to. You have to. I'm pretty sure I let mine down for quite some time. Yeah, I know I did. You're never going to know too much about addiction. Yeah, you're probably right. Did you finish packing? I'm not sure who you're talking to there. I don't, wait, don't think about it, bro. It will drive you crazy. I blew the, oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know. I don't really, though. You know what I mean? I don't. I've bounced back so many times in my life that it's like, I don't really dwell on the stuff I lost. I dwell on the time I lost. You know, I dwell on the relationships that got fucked up. That's what I can't get over. This last week has been extraordinarily tough for me because I've been in the house. I'm all fucked up physically. I got a bunch of injuries, you know, and it's miserable. It's been raining for a fucking week straight. So I told Shanna last night, I said, baby, this is why I got to keep moving. Look at me. I haven't shaved. I look like shit. I feel like shit. I've done nothing but lay around. I've accomplished nothing. You know, that's not like me. You know, I don't fall into ruts like that usually. But when I do, it's very dangerous because that's when the bad thoughts start and they don't go away, you know. And I've been struggling with a lot of those bad thoughts for the last week. Today as well, you know. And I'm sure you guys go through that all the time. But those bad thoughts I always talk about, of the horrible things you've done, the relationships that are broken that still haven't been repaired, the regrets. I have certain events that play over in my head over and over and over and over and over, and I can't make it stop, you know, and I just dwell on what if I would have done this differently, or what if I would have gotten clean sooner, or what if I wasn't at this place or this time, you know, when I was, or I wasn't at this certain place at this certain time, you know, things wouldn't have happened, or they would have happened differently. It is a nightmare. It is. That's one of the reasons I always say, you know, when you get clean and sober, you have to be willing to deal with all that shit. It's not fun, but it's a hell of a lot better than killing your fucking self with drugs and alcohol. You know, it's a hell of a lot better than making your family suffer while they worry if you're going to come home at night or wake up in the morning. You know, it's a hell of a lot better than that. At least this way, listen, you punish yourself, but you know, the way I see it, we all deserve that punishment. We do. You know, I don't cop out of anything. I'm not somebody who blames any behavior on my addiction, even though a lot of my behavior is obviously because of my addiction. It's easy for me. You know, there's a saying, acceptance is the end of all suffering. And that's, I believe that, you know, just accept that everything's your fault, even things that aren't, you know, and learn to deal with it. And then this way, you know, you might be beating yourself up, but the people around you won't suffer anymore. And then maybe it's our karma that now, okay, we did all these things because we were selfish, we were in our addictions, and we hurt people. So now we're gonna hurt. Maybe we deserve it. I think I do. I feel like I deserve all the pain I go through. So, you know, I don't know. I guess it just depends on the person. Everybody's different. That's nice, Tom Sheehy. That's got to be great. Oh, it's all good, Matt. Oh, hell yeah. I let my family down, especially my father who was incarcerated. Oh, yeah, your dad. I'm sure you got a lot of regrets, Ron. I feel like shit today, really. Really, you're physically, mentally, or both? Gotta face the demons. You got to. You know how many things I wish I could say to certain people, I wish I could say, but you don't understand. Even though, like I said, I take responsibility for everything. I'm not going to just straight up blame, you know, my behavior and all the horrible things I did on addiction, but to be able to explain to people that, no, yeah, I did those things. I definitely did. I maybe don't even deserve forgiveness, but can you understand that those are things I wouldn't have done if I was clean and sober? Can you understand that that wasn't me? That was me on drugs. That was me on alcohol. Like, you saw me for X amount of time, depending on the relationship, sober, and how I was when I wasn't using anything for years and years and years. And then, you know, you saw what I was like when I was, but you should know, because of the time before that, that's who I really was, not the guy I turned out to be once I started using and shit. You know, you want to shake people because they don't understand, but it's not their fucking job to understand. It's our fault for what we did to them. You know, but that's what I want to say to people sometimes. Do you understand that that's not me? That's not, I would never say I talked badly to somebody, or I talked, you know, I said horrible things to somebody. I wouldn't have said those things. That's not in me to say those things, you know. But the alcohol and the drugs, yeah, they changed my behavior. That doesn't mean I should be forgiven or that you should just forget about the whole fucking thing, because I did do that. And I take responsibility. But I just need you to understand that that's not the guy I am. That's it, you know. You know the guy I really am. But people don't want to hear it. And you know what? I can't blame them. It's just one of those things we got to deal with, you know? Let me see. Mentally, really, Tom? Well, I hope things get better. You know, you could see me. You guys know me, you know? I know you can't see my eyes or anything. You haven't seen them for about a week or so, but anybody who knows me and knows my regular energy level, you could tell when I'm all fucked up, you know, mentally. And you by how easily I get distracted and stuff, you know. It's a shitty thing. Sorry, Tom. I hope it gets better, man. You know the funny thing about the door dashing? They like to make fun of me because you know why I really started that? It was the money too. I needed, you know, I was making very little. I started in January of this year. And I told you everything went down donations wise in January. But it's because of the miserable fucking winter. I fell into a rut for like 10 days or 2 weeks, something like that, where I didn't even leave the house. Literally, unless I had to go get like cigarettes or something. I didn't leave the house. And I was so fucking miserable. I had very bad thoughts, put it that way. Very bad ideas. And I just said I can't do this anymore. I mean, yeah, there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. It's fucking, you know, it's winter. It's miserable outside, but I got to fucking get my ass up. And that's when I started doing the door dashing and shit. And I loved it. It's fun for anybody who's never done it. It really is fun. It's actually a fun thing to do. The time flies and you make some money, you know? So, and then Shanna started doing it with me, you know, and we had so much fucking fun. Then she went off doing it on her own and we'd go out at the same time. Let's see who could make more money, who could take more deliveries, you know? But it took me out of that rut because I was up, I was moving. And while I was doing that, I wasn't thinking. Just like this new hobby I started recently that I'm not going to get into exactly what it is. You have no idea the peacefulness that I feel when I'm doing that. You know, I go out to the middle of nowhere to do it, basically. And it's very quiet, very few people around. And when I'm doing the shit, my mind is completely occupied by what I'm doing. I'm not thinking about anything else. All those bad thoughts go away. And now I fucked myself up so bad that I can't do it, at least not for a while, probably a long time. So that really brought me down because it's like I found some peace for a couple of weeks there every single day. God almighty, it was so relaxing. If you guys go back and watch those shows, if I give you the exact dates of when I started to when I stopped, you'll see my mood and how upbeat and happy I was. You know, and now I can't even fucking do that. I feel like I'm just stuck here. You know, so it's not good for me. You know, I gotta be out. I gotta be moving around. I gotta be doing something. That's why, you know, these shows help, but it's like, you know, when there's no money, it's so frustrating. And I don't want to, nobody donate on the addiction recovery show. You know that. I'm just talking about this because it's part of where I'm at. It makes you so mad to do shows and not get anything for it that you'd rather not do the show because it's like, I don't even want to get angry today doing a 2-hour show and making $20 fucking. I don't even want to get angry. I'm better off not doing it. And that's how I start to feel. So I'm not even doing this as much, you know? So I don't know. I don't know how to snap out of it sometimes. I've got a mix of mentally and myself, you know? Yeah. Do you mean mentally and what do you mean mentally and what? Mentally and physically? Sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. Yeah, you got that right. That's true. It could be too much sometimes, though. Mentally and physically. That's what I thought you meant. Sup, Archilla? The worst part about dope is even after 4 years, I still have cravings, cunning, baffling, and insidious. That's why I always said about dope that I give people so much respect and so much credit. Oh, I respect people so much, and I give them so much credit for staying clean from that shit because it's like, it's it seems like that one addiction, man, that it doesn't leave you. You know, people who've been addicted to dope. I mean, I've spoken to many of them, and it's constant cravings. It's like it never goes away. It's like it's always in the back of your mind talking to you. That's how it's been explained to me. Nice. Oh yeah. You've seen that every day for a while. Look at me. Look, I'm not. You know how unfucking shaven I am. You know me. You know how meticulous I am about every fucking thing. Like that's not me. Even if you've seen how I've been leaving the house when I do leave the house, I look like fucking a homeless guy. I'm not even me of all fucking people. Even my $225 sneakers are old beat up ones. I don't even give a fuck. I don't even care. I get so fucking down. Or when I told FBS just this year my cravings stopped. Yeah, it's a good thing. Dope as hell. Heroin is a lifelong struggle. I believe it. Oh, look who's here, Johnny the Greek. What's up, bro? How long do you have clean off dope, Tom? 6 years, bro. Yeah, that's great, man. Congrats, Tom. Anthony Santoro, shout out FBS. The fact you stay true, these shows really brings the humanity out in you. Godspeed and continue your path, bro. This is a big reason I have respect for you. Well, thank you, Anthony Santoro. I appreciate that, bro. I do. And that's why even when we disagree on politics, I still love you. I really do appreciate the kind words, though, man. Yeah, dude, I've been in a rut big time. Well, I understand, Chris. I know you've been through hell, but is there any new stuff going on you want to talk about? It's totally up to you, bro. I mean, I just mean in the chat if you want. Of course, if anybody ever wants to come up on panel, I'll drop the link for you anytime. But even if you just want to talk about it from the chat. Yeah, no doubt, Anthony Santoro. Wait a minute. Hey, love. I've been here 15 months straight. It's not easy. And I give you sincere, genuine kudos for always being such a bright light full of beautiful, happy, positive energy and so kind to all. Is that to me, butterfly kisses? I don't know because you've been talking to other people. Is that for me? Let me see. Well, it's different for everybody, Ronan, but hopefully it won't even be 2 more years, It was 6 for Tom, but maybe for you it'll be different. I relapsed a few months ago. I have a few weeks clean now. Well, listen, as long as you got back on track, bro, relapse is a part of it. Can't beat yourself up. I'd be dead if not for methadone. Well, that's the good thing about it. Methadone, like I say, I'm very confused about people who stay on it for years and years and years, but to get off it, it makes perfect sense, you know, and it's good, man. It's good that it saved you. Butterfly, was that comment for me? Just out of curiosity, just so I know. You're on the right track now, Chris Archula. Yep. Yep. That's what matters, bro. Chris Archilla, that's what it takes. Oh, for Tom Shee. Okay. I was gonna say I've never heard anybody refer to me as a being such a bright light, full of beautiful, happy, positive energy, and so kind to all. That definitely no, Butterfly. That fits Tom Sheehy a hell of a lot more than it fits me. The only reason I asked is because if it was to me, I wanted to thank you profusely, of course, but I figured it wasn't. FBS, this is a new channel. Can you see me in the chat on here? I know you can't see my comments on your. Yeah, bro. And you're not blocked. Well, I don't even want to get into it, John. I've been telling you for like 6 months. You're not blocked on the other channel. I feel the same way about you, Tom, except if I said that, it would sound completely gay. So I'm not going to. I'll just second that. You know what Butterfly Kisses said. Except I didn't call you love. She did. Tom, if we go back, it's right to the cemetery. Our bodies can't handle it. Especially with dope, especially now. I mean, you'd have to be a masochist to even fucking try the shit anymore. You don't know what's in it. But yeah, it's true, man. I feel the same way about my body, you know? I don't think it could handle it anymore. And I don't even want to find out, you know? That's the funny thing about all of these drugs is you can fucking use the shit every fucking day, like Coke. You know, I knew of a guy. I didn't know him personally, but he was friends with my friend Troy. He did Coke every day for fucking years, and he functioned completely. He went to work, but he did Coke 24 hours a day. And one day he woke up, he did a line, and his heart stopped. You know, so your body gets tired and weak. You know, you think you can keep going because shit, I don't feel like nothing's wrong. Well, there's something wrong, most likely. There's something wrong. It just hasn't caught up to you yet. Just hasn't caught up to you yet. There's a new pain med coming out. I have the article. Is that the one? Did you talk about that before? You can't see Johnny, Tom Sheehy? Did you block him in anyone's chat? Because that would be why. That's odd. Oh, you mean you can't see him? Maybe he's in the recovery tube chat and you're in the Fat Bald-Sicilian chat. I don't know. You know, maybe that's why. You could see him in the comments, right? Or no, I guess. Yeah. If he's on a different channel than you, you won't be able to see him in the comments. I think. I don't know. Can't think of the name of the med, but it's supposed to be non-addictive kind. Yeah, hopefully. How's that even possible, though, you know? How could they make something strong enough to kill pain that's not a narcotic, to really kill pain? Chris Archilla, FBS, you sound like you're having a day like me. Feeling down helps to talk. Yeah, man, and it does. I'm definitely, well, I don't know if I'm having a day like you, you know? I mean, my problems, Chris, are probably nothing compared to yours. But we might both be having a down day, yeah. And it does help to talk, bro. It certainly does. This is a kind of therapy for me doing this. You know, I've said that for a long time. It really is. If I wasn't able to express this stuff like I do on here, I don't know. I don't think it would be good for me. But that's for all of us here, you know. That's why I want this channel forever. Recovery Tube 180 at least. You know, if I left YouTube altogether, I'd still do these shows. You know, in other words, well, that wouldn't be leaving altogether. You know what I mean? If I dropped everything else I do on here, I would still do these shows. No money, no nothing. I don't want no money for them. I just, I think it's a good place for us. You know, we're all from the same YouTube community, and many of us have the same types of problems and issues. So it's good that the people who want to can come here and talk about it. And I don't even have to like you. You know, I might fucking hate you. If you want to come here and be serious and talk about your issues and your problems and get support from all of us here and stuff and hear our stories, and, you know, maybe it brings you a little comfort, you're welcome here, you know. You might not be welcome on the other channel, but you're welcome here. It does, Miss Campion. If I went back, it would be lights out. Fuck that. It's good you know that, bro, because, you know, too many people feel like, oh, I still got some left in me. You know, I keep going for a while. I could get back into it for a little while, you know. It's my worst nightmare. It's another reason I would never relapse. Because let me tell you something. If I were to relapse, well, I don't know. It would probably be alcohol more so than Coke. But once I started drinking, it would be Coke. I would need it. I would need it. It's just the way my mind works. Can't have one without the other. And if I actually relapsed, even just I had a bad fucking day and I had a couple of drinks and got a bag of Coke and my fucking heart stopped, then I broke my promise to everybody. You know, I made a promise that when I die, who knows when it'll be, I won't have anything in my system. I won't be under the influence of anything. So to think about that, you might not be able to just relapse and come back from it. It might be your last fucking day on earth. You know, it's just all the more reason to stay fucking clean, because who wants to go out like that? I knew a kid named Scott. I was friends with his sister, Tara. And this kid was on the Oxy, and he was taking, like, you know, I don't know if he was taking 30s or 80s. He was taking a lot of fucking pills every day, though. And he went to jail finally, I think for possession or something. He was in jail for like a year, and he came out. He was out for like 2 days, and he decided I could do, I think it was like an 80 or something. And he dropped fucking dead. First pill he took, because you don't have that tolerance anymore. It might have been a lot more than that. I don't know. I'm speculating. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But whatever it was, you know, it was too much for him. And he died, you know, and he was young. I think he was like 20 years old. So I know I'm not blocked, Chris. It's just one of them things, bro. I've tried everything with my settings, but I'm glad you could see me here. I'm all about addiction and recovery. Well, then you're welcome here, bro. I'd immediately be dead. Think so, Matt? Matt, and that would be sad. I wouldn't want that. No. No, we need everybody here to stay healthy. And as Don Berlin would say, 2 steps ahead of the coroner, you know? Toradol is a non-narcotic for extreme pain. Really? It's non-addictive? Johnny is in recovery tube. That's why. Yeah, Johnny, you can go over to the FBS channel if you want. Oh, you can't be, you can't. Yeah, that's right. Sorry about that. But you know what? Honestly, guys, you'd all be doing me a favor if you all went to the Recovery Tube channel, because that's where I need to, get views and build a subscriber base, So if you guys could all go over there every show, that would be great. The only reason I do the shows on both channels is because on the Recovery Tube 180 channel, we only get a few people. I don't know why, but people find it hard to just subscribe to another channel. It's like you can't move people from one place to another. It's very weird, but I never had pain. I started because I like to party. Wish never even puffed weed. Never had pain. Wow. It's a shame then. Me, I'm all right, bro. I just busted my fucking head on the concrete and fucked my whole body up in the process. But I'm all right. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses. I'm not trying to be cool. I look all fucked up. So everyone is over at the FPS channel. That's why. Toradol is considered addictive, even though it isn't an opiate. It has has kind of the same properties. Oh, okay. I never heard of Toradol. Tramadol, I think, but isn't Tramadol like a painkiller that's non-narcotic? But it's like the strongest non-narcotic painkiller or something? Tom Shee, it does, brother. Not true. Everyone has problems. Mine are no greater than everyone's. I try to support people if they need it. I know. I just know you deal with a lot, bro. My problems are pretty much all in my head. You know what I'm saying? I got a good life, so I can't complain. But I just got so much going on up here. I wish when I slammed my fucking head on the concrete, it would have knocked out just the bad memories, Yeah, Miss Can't Be Wrong. You ain't kidding. Every relapse gets worse. I would be heartbroken. You are my brother, FBS. And you are mine, Michael. That's why neither of us are going anywhere, God damn it. Yeah. That's why we all got to stay clean. I would feel the same. I'd be heartbroken, Michael. We got to support each other, and make sure we all stay on the right track. It ain't many of us here, but everybody's important. Everybody. LOL, well, I feel special. I've got a whole complete chat to myself over here. At least FBS can see me. I was wondering how it comes FBS only has 2 people watching. Yeah. There's only 2 people on the Recovery Tube channel? Fuck, man. Come on, guys. Switch to that channel. Do me a favor, please. Yeah, look at A-Light's daughter, Chelsea. Poor girl. Thought she was getting oxy and some piece of shit gave her fentanyl. Yeah, well, it's just like Devin, my stepson's best friend. Shanna practically raised. Same thing. Sick, man. They say that's what addicts do. Get out of rehab and start up with what they were using at the highest tolerance, and so many OD like that. Oh, no doubt. I love Don. Don's the shit he is. Butterfly kisses. I know for a fact our community sincerely care about one another, and if something happens, everyone here is loving and caring enough. Put our pride aside, and then some mofos are going to be sorry. Yeah, you ain't kidding, though. It's true. It's true. It is an awesome fucking community. It's addictive. Okay, gotcha. Tom Shee. Oh, he said drop the link. Oh, shit. What do we got going on here? Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. You're in both? Okay, Miss Camp, you're on. Cool. Chris, I think if you or I was to relapse now, it would be a disaster for us. It would be like falling from a skyscraper, Tramadol gives you constipation. I know that. Oh, does it? Yeah, you're right. It would, man. It'd be a horrible thing. Oh, really, Tom? Tramadol is what you're thinking of. Isn't that what I said? Yeah. But Toradol rips up the kidneys. Let me see. Tramadol is opiate based. Fucking Johnny wants some company on Recovery Tube. I've always said this is the best community on here. Oh, no doubt. No, bro, I meant for Recovery Channel. What do you mean? Oh, drop the link. Oh. Did anybody put? Yeah, there you go. I guess it's right in there. Or no. No, that's for StreamYard. Hold on. Let me go get it. I gotta switch channels. God damn it. Okay. Switch account. It takes forever. Somebody probably already did it, huh? Let me see. Okay. I'm good now, bro. Well, now, since I went through all that, I'm dropping it anyway. I'm good now, bro. Well, now, in case anybody needs to go over to Recovery Tube, which you'd be doing me a big fucking favor, there's the link in the chat. Please do. We gotta get views and subs on that channel. I don't want these fucking shows to be on FBS channel anymore. Wow, FBS, you've read more of my comments in 20 minutes than in the past 2 years. It's amazing. Thank you for the hospitality, bro. I told you, Johnny, even if you were somehow able to be seen on the regular shows, you know, I would read your comments then too. Somehow you got lost in the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know. We can't find you. I unblocked you. Every fucking time I'd be in SoFlo's chat and you'd say, "Can you unblock me?" I wanted to fucking jump through the phone and choke you. You've been unblocked. Shit. What else you guys want to talk about? I should probably go. I really need to shave and get my shit together. Because the bottom line is when I do stuff like this to myself, I make myself worse because I like feel worse because I look like shit. And when you look like shit, you feel like shit. The fuck? Unless, of course. Oh, okay. That's all right. Yeah. Let me see. No, not in this. They don't have to donate on these shows, but thank you on these shows. But thank you, Butterfly Kisses. Thank you very much. Chris Archilla, FBS, Tom, Butterfly, Capella. Was nice talking to you all. I have to eat. Take care, everyone. All right, bro. Eat good, my friend. Have a good night. I love you and Shauna, bro. Ask Tom Sheehy. I missed being here. Well, if you could figure out how to be seen on the fucking FBS channel, bro. I don't know. I don't understand why we can't see you over there. I don't know. You sure you actually went over there and tried, Johnny the Greek? All right, guys, I got to go, man. I'm going to go shave and try to make myself feel better. If anybody needs to talk or anything, you got my number, call me. Otherwise, email me or something, you know? We'll talk. Write down these numbers, guys. National Addiction Hotline, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. And please, for the love of Christ, go to nextdistro.org. Okay? Fill out the little quiz after you watch the video. Give them your information and get your Narcan in the mail. Please. All right? You too, Tom C. Love you all, and until next time, salute.